everyone, and welcome back to episode 48 of Sooner Girl Sports Pod. And I have a great interview again this week with OU women's basketball player Beatrice Culliton. I really enjoy visiting with her. She has again always been another one of my favorites, so I really enjoyed visiting with her. And again, thank you, Beatrice, for giving me part of your time to come on the show, and I know you guys will enjoy that interview. But before we get there this week, let's go ahead and run through a brief update on some injuries and the Sooner headlines of the week. I did not record an injury segment with Dr. Jason Linen this week. There wasn't a ton going on injury wise or updates for us to talk about, but I did want to mention just a few things. And again, some of these topics Dr. Linen and I have discussed on previous episodes with other athletes. So please go back and check out some of the previous episodes and the injury segments to learn more about knee injuries, the foot injury, LaFranc injury, knees, and things like that. And I'm sure that we will have lots more topics coming up in the future. But I want to mention CeeDee Lamb did go out of the game for the Cowboys last week with a concussion, and he was ruled out for this past weekend's game. So he is still on their injury report. It was updated this past week as well about Kyler Murray and his LaFranc foot injury. It is not progressing, so Kyler will not be returning this season. Lane Johnson for the Eagles, he also has the same foot injury as Kyler. We have not gotten an update on him in a couple of weeks, but they did say they would recheck it in 4 to 6 weeks, and that was about 3 weeks ago, I believe. So we should be getting another update on Lane Johnson and his injury soon. Unfortunately, on Sunday Night Football, the Chiefs, we have lots of Sooners on that team. Wanye Morris being one of them. He suffered a knee injury on the first series of the game. I believe it may have even been the first snap of the game. He went down. It did not look good. They took him off on a cart. Have not received an update on him at the time of this recording. I know they were going to be doing some further testing to check on his knee, but he was ruled out the rest of the game, and we are awaiting more information on that injury, so I will be sure to update you on next week's episode. Also, after it was announced that the Sooners will be playing Alabama in the CFP round 1 in Norman, which we will talk more about that here briefly, but I just wanted to give an injury update after Coach Venables gave a report going into that game. We have been without our redshirt junior defensive back, Gentry Williams, since our loss to Texas back in October. He did have shoulder surgery. He will not be available for the CFP game, according to Coach Venables. A senior defensive lineman, Mason Thomas, he last played in the Tennessee game. We have not seen him since, and Venables said that he is uncertain of Mason Thomas's status at this time, so that is up in the air, but we are still about a week and a half out from CFP round 1 in Norman, and so I would say here in the next little bit, we may be able to find out some more information about Mason Thomas and his injury. So stay tuned. I will be sure and update on that situation on next week's podcast for sure. I did want to mention Trae Young in the NBA is still out with an injury as well. He is supposed to be being evaluated and hopefully will come back soon. So stay tuned. And that's about all I have for injuries, this week, which is a great thing. I'm not going to complain about at all, but we start in with some of our winter sports. Gymnastics will be starting up soon. Track and field is starting. Of course, we have the CFP coming up for our football team. Diamond sports will be here in a couple of months. I'll be keeping track of all of those injury reports, all of those athletes, and especially our pro Sooners as well as the NBA continues. NFL regular season is winding down, but still lots of football to be played, so I'll be keeping track of all of those injuries to keep you all posted on that as well. On to the Sooner headlines of the week. Just a few things from the NFL front for our former Sooners. Baker Mayfield was named the Tampa Bay Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, and it was just a really cool emotional video. If you didn't get to see that on social media, it was on OU football social media as well as Tampa Bay Buccaneers social media, where his family was there, and Coach Bowles announced that he was their nominee for all of his philanthropic endeavors in the Tampa Bay area. Him and Emily, his wife, they do a lot for the community, and it was really cool for them to get acknowledged for that. Jalen plays Monday Night Football, which is tonight, the day I'm recording, so I don't have an update on that. Baker does play Thursday Night Football this week after a loss at home this past weekend against the Saints. but they do play this Thursday night football against the Falcons. Speaking of the Falcons, I did mention this last week, but Billy Bowman, he plays for the Falcons. He is out right now with an Achilles injury. He is having to have surgery. Have not heard an update on him, so I just wanted to mention that as well. But we did see a little Danny Stutzman action yesterday with the Bucks against the Saints. Unfortunately, the Bucks did lose that game 2024. So not sure what their playoff picture is looking at right now. I think it just kind of depends on how some other games fall within the division. The Saints really not a good team to lose to, especially at this point in the season. So we'll be curious to see where that goes. Marvin Mims had a fantastic punt return for the Broncos this past weekend. Again, our Sooners just continue to show out across the league, but the Broncos is another team that has several Sooners on deck. I have recently spoke about Nick Benito and him looking good for the Broncos, and Marvin Mims is another one of our Sooners who is now a Bronco who gets a chance to show out on the field quite often. And so shout out to Marvin. If you missed his punt return, go check out the Broncos social media. Last Wednesday was National Signing Day for football, and all 24 of Oklahoma's 2026 commits have officially signed. You can go to OU Football's Instagram account and see graphics and information on all of the signees. But it's a very promising class. I did listen to the latest episode of the Oklahoma Breakdown with Jim Nagy, and he was talking a lot about this class and the commits that they have, and a couple that flipped. Jonathan Hatton, a 4-star running back, being one of those. Of course, 4-star quarterback Bo Bentley is one that comes up. 4-star edge Jake Krull. And then we also have the Jandrell brothers from Arizona. They're both 3 stars. Linebacker Bo and safety Nico. Those are some of the names that come up when you're looking at that 2026 class and just hearing Jim Nagy talk a little more in depth about that. It's a great class to look forward to. 24 signees, lots of promising athletes coming into Norman next season. On to the CFP rankings. It couldn't have worked out better for the Sooners, in my opinion. Don't necessarily agree with the matchup, but going forward and looking at, we need to win. Who can we beat? Who can we play that we have the most likely scenario to move on to round 2? I don't think we could have picked a better option. At this point, honestly, we come in at number 8. Alabama comes in at number 9. They did not move in the poll at all after their somewhat lopsided loss to Georgia in the SEC championship this past weekend. Very interesting there, but we will be hosting Alabama on Friday, December 19th at 7 o'clock that night. Friday night in the Big Town, Friday Night Lights on campus for CFP Round 1 home field advantage to play a team that we've already beaten once on their own turf. I don't think you could handpick a better scenario for the Sooners, if we're being honest. If we make it past round 1, we will meet Indiana, which is now the new number 1 seed after they beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship this past weekend. We will meet them at the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. That is a solid team. I, to be honest, did not think that they could beat Ohio State. I have thought that Ohio State is one of the stronger looking teams this season, and I'm not discounting them at all. I'm not saying that they're not good, but clearly they're beatable. But also clearly Indiana is a very, very good football team. Coach Kirk Cignetti is an excellent coach. He has done a lot with that program. I would be remiss to not mention what he's done in just 2 years. They were the losingest program in all of college football for years, and now they've come back, and I believe he's 24-2 in 2 seasons. Incredible. Mendoza, their quarterback, is probably going to win the Heisman and definitely deserves it, in my opinion. It's just really cool what is going on with Indiana right now. That's normally a basketball school. They're now a football team and number 1 in the nation. But I do want to back up a little bit and discuss Alabama coming into the final CFP at number 9. A lot of the talk going into this was us thinking we were going to get Notre Dame to host in Norman, or maybe even Miami. Certainly weren't expecting it to be Alabama, especially after their loss in the SEC title game this past weekend. But I think a big question that's looming over a lot of people are, why in the world does a 3-loss Alabama team get in over a 2-loss BYU team when they both lost their conference championships? If you keep Alabama out because of their conference championship loss, then that will automatically do away with conference championships, which I have totally mixed feelings about conference championships anyway. But if we're not going to make them carry any weight, what is the point of them? But also, if you're going to penalize a team for making it to the conference championship and then keeping them out of the CFP, again, what does that make it worth? If you let Notre Dame in over Miami, then you just say the head-to-head doesn't matter because Miami beat Notre Dame in that head-to-head matchup earlier this season. It's just truly crazy. I think the bottom line goes to, I think Notre Dame needs to join a conference. I think teams should band together and be like, we're not going to play them. We're not going to give them these quality losses or quality wins or whatever if they're not going to join a conference. If the rest of us have to play these good teams week after week after week, especially in the SEC, as we're moving to a 9-game conference schedule, 9 weeks of just brutal football in the SEC. Even the Big Ten, I mean, I know they have some cupcake teams, but they're still playing at least 4 to 5 games a season that are tough. And Notre Dame is over here scheduling Navy and Rutgers and Syracuse, and then they somehow got some deal. Notre Dame will be assured of making the playoff if it is ranked in the top 12 starting next season. If the playoff is expanded to 14 teams and there are more at-large berths added to the field, meaning going from 7 to 9 at-large berths, Notre Dame is guaranteed into the field if it is ranked 13 or better, according to a memorandum signed by CFP officials. So, very interesting tidbit there. Not quite sure why they should get some sort of guarantee. Again, join a conference, play quality teams, join a conference, and battle it out like the rest of us. Notre Dame, Iowa State, K-State, Florida State, Auburn, UCF, Baylor, and Rutgers all declined their bowl invites. Okay, now I have a lot of mixed feelings about that because bowl games are just not prestigious like they used to be. They don't carry a lot of weight like they used to unless you are in the playoff. So a lot of players are opting out from playing to protect their health, especially going into the draft or just getting ready for next season. But it just felt a little different with Notre Dame declining their bowl invite. It was kind of like, well, we didn't get what we wanted, so we're going to take our toys and go home. I don't feel like that's a very good thing to be teaching your players. We didn't get what we wanted, so we're just going to go somewhere else. Well, play along the rules that everyone else is having to play around. We all are in conferences. We all have to schedule these conference games and play so many every season and win them, and then qualify to go to conference championship games and win that game, so it's not held against us. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. I've long had beef with Notre Dame, which, if you're a Sooner fan, in case you don't know, why we originally don't like Notre Dame from years ago is because they broke our 48-game winning streak. Notre Dame is who broke that. So that's our original beef with Notre Dame. Over the years, us going head-to-head with them has been far and few between. And it's just always cool to see that matchup. But we got beef with them. I mean, they stole our play like a champion sign and claimed that they're the ones that had it first. And let me just say, I like Marcus Freeman. I think he's an excellent coach. I think he's an excellent human. I'm very disappointed with how they handled this whole CFP thing. And now they're like, well, if you don't give me what I want, then we're not going to play. And so then they turn around and get what they want and basically get guaranteed to get what they want next season. And I think that's a bunch of bull crap. As for the other teams that are opting to go out of their bowl games, again, the Iowa State, Florida State, Auburn, UCF, Baylor, Rutgers. Obviously, some of those teams don't even have coaches, so maybe you can't blame them there. Again, I guess they're just assuming it's going to be a useless bowl game, and the players don't want to risk their health. I don't necessarily agree with it, but again, I feel like you play all season to qualify for a bowl game, whatever that may be, and that's part of your season. You should finish it out. But also, in this day and age, with just the way things are, do I necessarily blame them for not wanting to jeopardize their health going forward for those declaring for the NFL or wanting to go in the portal or even just stay where they're at and compete again next year? I mean, can't really blame them this day and age, but again, it's just, there's too many bowl games. And now here we are with all these bowl games and commitments and sponsors that have paid in, and now they're trying to find 5 and 7 teams just to fill the slots for the bowl game. And it's just insane to me. But I will say this, I don't want to go off too much, but I want to focus on the fact that we're playing Alabama and not Notre Dame or Miami. I think they very easily could have put Miami at that 9 spot instead of the 10, and we could have hosted a brand new team without having another rematch in Norman. I personally would have loved that. But I do want to point this out again, like I was saying, my point is with all of this, Danny Cannell actually made a comment, something that I agree with, which is actually very rare with him. But he said, here we are all arguing that Miami, Alabama, Notre Dame, we're all wanting to get into the playoffs, and we overlooked that 2 groups of 5 schools are occupying spots when they have zero business playing in it. One of those being Tulane, the other one being James Madison, JMU. Tulane lost 45 to Ole Miss earlier this season. They are rematched with them in Oxford in the CFP round 1. JMU only played one Power 4 school and they lost by 14. So what a mess this playoff is. Do I really think that Bama should be in the playoff? I don't think they're necessarily more deserving than BYU. They also made it to their conference championship and lost. How is this any different? And they only have 2 total losses on the season as opposed to Alabama's 3. And then I've already went off on my spiel about Notre Dame. It's just a mess. Again, I don't want to make this an entire podcast about the CFP because there's so much else going on in Sooner Nation, but I just wanted to give a highlight on that situation, how we ended up with Alabama, the other teams that we could have possibly ended up with, but now here we are. Regardless, Sooner Nation, Friday, December 19th, 7 o'clock, we're hosting Alabama round 1 in the CFP. I know there is a public sale for tickets that will be available as this episode drops, so go check out Soonersports.com. Be there if you can. Be loud. Pack the palace. Bring that energy that we need to beat Alabama again this season. That will be our 3rd win over Alabama in a calendar year if we beat them in Norman. And then we get to run out to Pasadena on New Year's Day to play the Rose Bowl against Indiana. Fantastic. You guys, we really have a pretty easy path, quote, easy going forward compared to some. So I'm not going to complain. Indiana, again, is a great team, but I do think that it's a team that we could focus on beating once we make it past round 1. Okay, so moving on to basketball. Our men's basketball team had a great win last week at Wake Forest in the SEC ACC Challenge on Tuesday night. Darion Reed had 18 points, 4 rebounds. Tay Davis had 18 points, 2 rebounds. Nigel Pack, 13 points, 4 rebounds. Mo Wagee, 11 points, 14 rebounds. Xavier, 11 points, 5 rebounds. Jaden, 11 points and 4 rebounds. All of those players in double-digit points, which we needed to get that win at Wake Forest. Unfortunately, this past weekend, we flew out to Arizona State and we lost 86-70. We were up 4-0 and then we were down 27-6. That's just basically how the night went. It was not a good game. Very rough on the offense for the Sooners. We now sit at 6-3, our 3rd loss in the non-conference season. We bought themselves some buffer with the last 2 wins, but now Bedlam is a very, very important game on this coming Saturday, the 13th, Bedlam doubleheader at Paycom. There's still tickets available if you want to make it out. The men tip off at noon. Women tip off at 3 p.m. 1 ticket gets you into both games. You won't want to miss it. It's a very important game, obviously for our men. But OU is 6-3. OSU is undefeated, 9-0. Bedlam, Paycom, Saturday. Don't miss it. Our women, Elia Chavez, SEC Freshman of the Week this past week. We beat NC State at home in an overtime thriller last Wednesday for our SEC ACC Challenge, 103-98. First time in program history, the Sooners have scored more than 100 points in 4 straight games. Highest scoring women's game in LNC history. Career high night for Elia Chavez with 33 points and just 3 points short of a school record for a freshman. It was such an exciting game. It was a very good crowd out last Wednesday, and what a win. Elia again had a big night, monster block from Peyton, fantastic game, double queen, 6 straight for Reagan Beers, 21 points, 12 rebounds for her. Elia Chavez again, 33 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Sahara Williams, 21 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and Reagan Beers, 21 points, 12 assists. So just an incredible outing in the ACC Challenge at the Lloyd Noble Center last Wednesday night. And then we had another win at the LNC this past Sunday. The Sooners won 90-37 over Maryland Eastern Shore. We had several Sooners again in double figures. Peyton Verhul, 16 points. Elia Chavez, 14. Sahara Williams, 13. Reagan Beers, 13. Smith, 12 points. And Brooklyn Stewart, 10 points. Again, next up for our women is a Thursday night game against Little Rock in Norman. Women's gymnastics, a full schedule's out. Single meet tickets and mini packs are on sale now, and the regular season starts in just about a month. They had the Sooner Spotlight this past Saturday. A pretty decent crowd, but it's always fun to get a little sneak peek of our Sooner women. Same for our men's gymnastics. They start their season in January as well. Those tickets are not on sale yet, but mark your calendar with their schedule. They have their red and white meet this coming Saturday, the 13th. It's at 2 o'clock. It's free admission. I know it contradicts the timing with Bedlam basketball, which is such a bummer because I would give anything to be able to go. But if you can't make it to basketball, but maybe you have an hour or so to spare, you're in the Norman area, go and check out our men's red and white gymnastics meet at the new Gymnastics Center on Saturday afternoon. Softball, we had the AUSL draft last Monday night. We had several Sooners that were spread out all across the league. It makes me very excited for the summer. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little disappointed that Jocelyn Allo won't be back in Oklahoma City this summer, and I will get there shortly to explain a little bit more about who went where. But my initial reactions were we have several Sooners still in Oklahoma City. The roster that Coach Amber Flores is building is incredible, and there's lots of talent on that team. Lots of big names coming back, several Sooners coming back, and then we have, of course, our other big names, Sydney Sherrill, and just lots of players coming back to that Oklahoma City roster. And again, lots of Sooners across the league. They will all be playing each other. So you can still plan to go out and support our Oklahoma City Spark and see multiple former Sooners on the field, at least 3 or 4 from the Spark roster. And then whoever's coming in on the opposing team, again, they're all across the league. So Spark got the first pick of the expansion draft, and we chose Maya Brady from UCLA. Incredible pick. Who doesn't want to see Maya Brady? If you know anything about softball, you know how talented she is. We played against her when she was at UCLA. She has played in the AU the last couple of seasons. Just an incredible pick by Oklahoma City. Also, former Sooner Sid Romero is coming back to Oklahoma to play for the Spark. So the Spark will have Maya Brady in the outfield, Sydney McKinney in the infield, Sydney Romero infield, Jesse Warren, another name that softball enthusiasts will know, Elena Vaughter, pitcher. She was at Stanford with Nyjah Kennedy, and then they both split town. Nyjah is still in Lubbock playing for Tech. Elena Vaughter was at South Carolina, has since graduated, played in the AU last season. She will be in Oklahoma City this coming summer. And what a pick she is. Such a fun pitcher to watch. Bubba Nichols, outfield, and also Delaney Wiz. Just a great lineup for the Spark. Also, Haley Lee will be back for the Spark, and Kinsey Hansen. And again, like I mentioned, Sydney Sherrill. She played softball at Florida State, but she is from Moore, Oklahoma. So welcome back to the hometown girl. Sam Landry goes to the Cascade along with Kelly Maxwell. So 2 great Sooner pitchers off to the Cascade. Jada Coleman also went to the Cascade. And then we have Alyssa Brito to the Blaze. Jocelyn Allo went to the Bandits, and Riley Boone went to the Volts. So again, just lots of Sooners across the whole AU league. All of those teams will be coming to Oklahoma City. So you're going to want to get out and support them. So of course, I will keep you posted on all things Oklahoma City Spark as the spring progresses and ticket information come out after the first of the year. Softball fans will know the name Sophia Bordy, as she did enter the portal this past weekend. Given the state of some things, is not really super surprising. She was not on that fall roster for OU softball. She graduated early and moved to Norman last spring to be with the team early, and then ended up heading back home in late spring due to some personal issues. I know that was still something she was still struggling with and had not made it back to campus for the fall. She was seen at the OU game against Temple in Philadelphia earlier this fall. She was at a fall softball game back in October at Love's Field. But again, it's just not super surprising to see her go into the portal. But her official statement was this: after much thought and discussion, I've made the decision to enter the transfer portal. I want to say thank you to the people close to me in Oklahoma, the Sooner fans who have continued to support me and show me love throughout my journey thus far. I am grateful for the opportunities I've been given and the time I've spent at OU. This wasn't an easy decision to make, but sometimes things have to change in order to try and find that little kid in yourself who's yearned for, as long as you can remember, to be living in the blessings that you are currently in, and to find that spark again. I'm excited to see where the journey takes me and what new challenges and opportunities will open up to me. God has a plan for me. So best wishes to Sophia Bordy on her new journey. She is an excellent pitcher. I have no doubt she will find a great home, a great team to fit in with. Maybe she wants to be closer to home. She is from New Jersey area. So maybe that's something that she has learned that she needs for herself. And best wishes to you, Sophia. We will miss you on the Sooner roster, but we do wish you the best. And for those who are concerned about losing a player in December, we have 6 very capable, talented arms still left on the roster. Maybe that played a part in Sophia's decision, but I'm not at all worried about our pitching staff, the arms that we have, as we previously talked about with fall ball. Not worried about it at all. Quick shout out to our wrestling squad. They say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but not this time. 174-pound title headed to Norman Carter Schubert caps a 4-0 tournament atop the 174-pound bracket, defeating the top-seeded wrestler Danny Wask of Navy 5-4 to claim the first place at the Cliff Keen Invitational. So shout out to Carter Schubert. Incredible win there for our team. Another podium finish for my DJ Parker, who was on last week's episode. He was narrowly defeated by Rodemaker of Oregon State 9-6 in a sudden victory to cap a solid weekend with a 4th place finish. Tyler Wells, way to battle back. He got the 4-1 win and sudden victory over Nash Singleton of Oregon State to take 5th place. So this is the first Cliff Keen Invitational champion since 2015 in Carter Schubert. Our highest team finish at the Cliff Keen since 2013. 4 podium finishers, 11 ranked wins. Shout out to our wrestling squad. Track and field. We hosted our very first OU Winter Fest this past Friday, and we have a couple of individual event winners on the men's and women's side. We did have several top 10 finishers. You can go to the OU Track social media to see a list of all of those that finished in the top 10 or best personal finish. Just so proud of our track and field squad. They really have done well so far in this first meet. Morgan Little, 60-meter dash, Jacelyn Neighbors, pole vault, Kennedy Clark, weight throw, Cassidy Watkins, long jump, Hannah Piffner, high jump, Tyson Dodson, shot put. Those were our women's side of event winners at Winterfest. On the men's side, event winners, we had Trey Bartholomew in the high jump, Floyd Whitaker triple jump, Brendan C. weight throw, Kennedy Stringfellow long jump, Tucker Smith shot put, and Samuel Toiley in the 60-meter dash. Again, we had several other athletes with personal bests and top 10 finishes, so please go to the OU Track and Field Instagram to see all of that. I do not want these amazing athletes to get overlooked. For my Sooner MVP of the week, I'm going to choose none other than Elia Chavez. She has just really shown out. Again, she was SEC Freshman of the Week last week. Wouldn't be surprised if it happens again after her 33-point performance just the other night. Just an incredible outing by our freshman, and she is so much fun to watch. Her defense is incredible. If you can, just get out and support our women's basketball team and give them your support this season. Coach Jenny, they're also fun to watch and they work so hard. It's going to be a great season with them for sure. For our Sooner fun fact of the week, T. Howard McCaslin, for whom OU's McCaslin Fieldhouse is named, was a leader in the American oil industry in his college days. He was an honored scholar and a 2-sport athlete who played both football and basketball at OU. So thanks you guys so much, everyone, for listening in today, for your overwhelming support. If you do not follow me on social media, please go do so. I'm on every platform at Sooner Girl Pod, and make sure that you download, follow, and subscribe on your favorite podcast app and share with a friend. I have lots of merch, t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, koozies, long sleeve tees, all the things. I have youth sizes. If you're looking for a stocking stuffer, go check out my merch. It's at soonergirl.bigcartel.com. Again, our women's locker room group, we're looking to schedule a holiday online gathering here soon. You won't want to miss out. You can join the locker room on Substack for only $5 a month. Again, I'll have my monthly newsletter, The Playbook, coming out at the end of the month. You won't want to miss as well. You can subscribe for that for free on Substack. And everything is linked in my link tree, in my link in bio on all social media. Again, at Sooner Girl Pod. In that link tree, you can find everything. I'm also looking for businesses to partner with for 2026. I already have a couple of lined up, and I am looking to promote Sooner fans, their businesses. If you're women-owned, local businesses, I want to partner with you for the podcast. So shoot me an email at soonergirlsportspod@gmail.com. Or again, you can even find more information regarding that on my link tree. If you scroll through my link tree, you will find all the information about the podcast that you will need to know. But if you ever need any help with anything, please don't hesitate to shoot me a message or an email. I am happy to help you. So again, thanks you guys for listening. I appreciate you more than you know. I will see you next Wednesday where we talk sports. And on to this week's interview with the amazing Beatrice Culliton. She is a senior for OU women's basketball. She's been at Oklahoma for 4 years and has been a part of 2 Big 12 championships and a Sweet 16. She has a degree in healthcare administration and is currently working on her MBA. She's a lifelong Sooner fan, and her favorite Sooner memory is winning the Big 12 championship, which we do talk about in our interview. And you can find her on Instagram at Beatrice Culliton. I will link her in the show notes, and I will tag her in all the things on social media this week. So hope you'll go give her a follow and send her some love. And you guys enjoyed my interview with the amazing Beatrice Culliton. Well, I really appreciate you coming to chat with me today.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
you have been one of my favorites, so I'm super excited to get to chat
That's
to
so
you.
sweet. That's so sweet. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, thank you so much. I know we talked about this before, but I brought my niece up, to OU basketball camp this summer that one day. And so when I saw you, I was like, "Oh, I have to go and talk to her and tell her about my podcast."
Yes.
So I was
Well, I'm
so
glad you
excited.
did.
Yes, I was excited to get the chance to meet you there, and you were so kind. So I appreciate that. But well, you are entering your last season at Oklahoma.
Crazy. You're making me feel old.
I'm sure it's a lot of bittersweet feelings for you.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So let's just kind of rewind a little bit and talk. How did you end up at Oklahoma?
Yeah.
And how did your love for basketball begin? Just kind of take it back where it started.
Yeah. So I grew up in we're kind of a sports family is what I'd call it.
Uh-huh.
Both my older brothers played football at the D1 level, so they they walked before I did.
Uh-huh.
And my mom also played college basketball, so I think it was just kind of, I guess, what we were kind of maybe
Yes.
born to do. But I just, kind of came out with every little lanky kid. You put them in volleyball and you put them in basketball.
Yes.
And I loved both. And then I think I just, like, probably around, like elementary age, I just liked basketball more. And
Yeah.
nowhere I was not good. Not good at all. Definitely not. Just I liked it.
Right.
And then, it's 6'2", so you're kind of good as, as a little, like, seventh grader. So, but, and it just kind of blossomed, and I love it still. And it's kind of, I think it's kind of like a family activity.
Yeah.
And, like, going to sporting events. So I grew up going
For
to my
sure.
brothers. But yeah, and then Oklahoma was easy. I loved my visit here. I'm actually, a lot of my family is from Oklahoma, including my mom. So she
Okay.
was originally from here. But again, I literally just, I didn't have any expectations for where I didn't have a dream school, which would have made it so much easier.
Yeah.
But I didn't have very many expectations in terms of that. So then I just kind of based it all on my visits. And, I literally loved going on visits. It was so much fun.
Yes. I bet
But I
so.
specifically loved my visit here. It was so much fun. And, Jenny's great. And she definitely knows what she's doing in terms of
Yes.
recruitment. So, but yeah, she definitely got me here. I was stuck literally the minute I got on campus.
I've heard that from a lot of people in a lot of different sports about how they get to Norman and they just feel at
Oh
home.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. And you don't realize it until you get here, but it's a really cool college town. It's a really neat
Yes.
place, and you kind of still have that, like, southern
Yes.
feel to it, where it's like people are waving to you across the street, and, like, I like that too. So that's really
Yes. For sure. Well, I'm an Oklahoma girl, born and bred, and I went to OU. I was a student from 98 to 2003. So probably before you were born. But yeah, Norman is a special place in my heart always, for sure, because it's a great place. So Coach Jenny, I love her. I've never met her, but
yes.
I love watching her. I've never heard one bad thing about her from
No,
anyone,
never.
but she's incredible.
She is.
And
She's great.
so, yeah, what's it like to play for her? She's always crazy, I guess.
Yes, she's an energy ball. She has a lot of confidence, so she exudes that, and I think it kind of rubs off on the people around her. So that's
Yeah.
nice to be around, even if you don't realize it's happening.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, she's so energetic. She's so lively. Like, she always wants us to do, do things with grit. And I think
Yeah.
she shows that too, just with coaching and passion. But yeah, she's also, like, she likes to hop in drills, so that's hard too, because it's like, you
Wow.
don't,
Yeah.
no one wants their coach to kick their butt.
No.
But that happens to us a lot.
She's very competitive.
Oh, 100%. And I think that rubs off too, because she doesn't, she doesn't like to, get into anything where she's not going 100%. So,
Yes.
but yeah, it's great to play for her. She's awesome. I think that she's, like, the ideal players coach.
Uh-huh.
if you will. I think she's really good, especially in this new age of like a lot of coaches are female now, and I think
Uh-huh.
that's fantastic. And I think that
Yes.
she is also very female centric, in which she wants us to be like strong women and confident, even outside of a program, and even
Love it.
after we leave. So I love that too. But yeah, it's fantastic to play for Jenny, and I can't even imagine a different coaching environment for my college career.
I love her. Well, I recently talked to Coach Sherry Cole, who
Oh yeah.
formerly was the women's basketball coach for years, and she's basically
Yes.
all I ever knew of women's basketball at OU. And so when she retired, it's kind of one of those things where you're like, who's going to take over?
Yeah.
And I just always like to remind myself and mention to others that you can't ever fill somebody's shoes. You know what I mean? Like everybody has their own pair of shoes, their own feet, and everybody's so different. But I feel like Coach Jenny just kind of came in and was like, okay, here we go. She took the reins and has made it her own, and nobody has looked back and
No, I
thought,
agree.
I mean, I don't know. She has some similarities to Coach Cole, I'm sure, with her passion and enthusiasm, but I know that they're two totally different people. But again, like I've never heard anybody comparing them or looking backwards or anything like that. It's just like
Yeah.
she took the reins and went guns a blazing, and here we went. So,
Yeah. No, I
yeah.
completely agree. And I agree with you. I mean, Sherry Cole had almost, you could call it like a dynasty here.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
and she definitely had a large following of
Uh huh.
Sooner fans. So that's hard too.
She did.
And I guess big stilettos to fill, if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think that's great. I think Jenny did a great job. I also think that Sherry did a great job kind of leaving Jenny
Oh,
like a
yes.
great like followed program. Like people loved women's basketball around here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree. I think Jenny's done a great job, and she's doing. I think she's doing Sherry Cole justice too. 'Cause sometimes it's hard. Like sometimes
Thousand
it's hard
percent.
to,
Yes.
but I think both of them handled, just like the transition with grace, and I think that Jenny's doing a great job for like a new age of coaching.
I agree. I agree. Well, and it's a whole new world now than even 5 to 10 years ago. So, but yeah, I agree with you. I think she's doing a great job. And one of my favorite memories of her, and I know you mentioned going to the Sweet 16 and everything, is that game against Iowa in
Oh
Norman last
yeah,
year.
yeah, that's
Like
so cool.
that has to be one of your favorite
Oh
memories for
yeah,
sure, because Jenny coaching against her alma mater and
yeah.
all that entails, I cannot imagine. And what an atmosphere that
Oh
was in
yeah.
Lloyd Noble that day. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think that especially even the longer I've been here, the atmosphere in the Lloyd Noble Center is just increased so much, and it was great when I got here.
Awesome.
Um, I do think that we can always get more fans
Of
in,
course.
and I
Yes.
think that's one of Jenny's hopes too. But
Yes.
I mean, it's really awesome to just be a
Yeah.
part of a school and a program where your fans love you, and we
Oh, yeah.
definitely have that here.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you guys feel that.
Yeah.
But I talked to Peyton about this too. I remember, but that game against Iowa, it was on a Monday afternoon and everybody's at work, and but that place was packed
Oh
and
yeah.
people found a way to get there, and other
No.
teams had moved their practices and things so that they could come and support you guys, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
I completely agree with you. I think that just kind of shows you the environment that's at
Yes.
University of Oklahoma, specifically the University of Oklahoma athletics.
Yes.
Just because, I mean, and I know how Jenny is about practice times, but, I think Jenny
Right.
would move practices too for something like that.
Oh,
And,
absolutely. Yeah.
and that's just really cool. I think it's really
Yes.
cool to see support from, your football team, your,
Yes.
your basketball team. And, it's a little easier to receive support from the men's basketball team just because we're so close.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I mean that's awesome, and I think that game is really, really good for women's basketball in general.
Absolutely. It was a huge day, a huge win for you guys and Coach Jenny, of course.
Yes,
And then you guys moved on to Seattle, which I know
yes.
didn't turn out the way that we wanted, but what a season for you guys last year.
Oh,
And just again, I know it didn't quote end the way that anybody wanted, but it was an
right.
amazing season. And when you guys won, and we all knew that you were going to get matched up against UConn in the next round, and it was like And I'm sure you guys felt the same way to an extent, and that means no disrespect to you guys or Jenny or anything, but like UConn is incredible, and they have been for years. And I love Paige Beckers. I've always loved watching her, and I was just like, as a Paige Beckers fan, I was like, oh, man, why do y'all got to be playing my girls? Obviously, I'm going to root for Oklahoma, but what an incredible experience you guys had in the Sweet 16, and just seeing how far you could go as a program, and it just, I'm sure it feeds your desire to push to do that again next year and even go further.
Oh, absolutely. And, only one team finishes the way they want to.
Right.
So I think that's also something that, like, you kind of have to realize.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love the tournament because you play great team after great team. Like we played Iowa and then we played UConn. Like, those are great teams, well coached,
yes,
great games. But yeah, I think it's really fun to know that you're going further in the tournament.
yes,
Like with each game, like I think that part is fun too. But I agree. I think that all the teams are really good, and that's what makes it cool. It's like you don't want to get so far just to play somebody that you're gonna beat by 100.
exactly.
And not that would happen, but we're looking for good games. That's what we train for.
Absolutely.
So it's a privilege to be able to go into tournaments and play really good teams. So
For
I mean,
sure.
that's awesome, and I do think it does propel us forward. Like, we would
Yes.
love to get back to where we were and even further. And
Absolutely.
you stay hungry when stuff like that
Yes.
goes on. But yeah, I mean, it's just a privilege to play against really, really good teams.
I agree with that. Well, like you said, nobody wants to watch a boring game, and you're not going to get that in the tournament especially when you get that far. It's going to be competitive.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what people want to see. So here's to another good whole season of good competition. We can talk about your two Big 12 championships that you have been a part of. That is incredible, and back to back, obviously, which is super rare, but super special to go out that way with the Big 12. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think so. That was my freshman and my sophomore year. And when you're a freshman, you're just kind of along for the ride. I feel like I'm grabbing on to Jenny and all the seniors' coattail, and just they're dragging me through the season. So it feels like it goes so quick, and you kind of don't know what you're expecting.
Right.
So when that happened my freshman year, it was like we won. It was a regular season thing, so it happened throughout the season.
Oh, right. Yes.
And it was, I can't remember what game it was, but someone was like, oh, like we at least tied for a Big 12 champ. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. Like I don't, I'm confused. But and then my sophomore year, obviously I know the drill, so it's a little bit different, but it's just so fun. I think, cutting down nets is an experience that I'm so grateful that I've been able to do.
Yes.
As a college athlete, it's so fun. And, I think it's also a treat for our fans, because I think it shows how dedicated you all are to us as well. And so it's really fun. I mean, I can't even think of anything that is better than that.
Right.
So, every year we're striving for the same thing. But it was really fun. I loved my freshman and sophomore year, and you're absolutely right. We did kind of go out with a bang for the Big 12, and obviously, like, SEC is on our next, like, in our sights.
Yes.
But yeah, I think I've just been absolutely privileged to be a part of really good teams here. Not only just with Jenny, but also like all three of the team, well, all four, I guess, have been different. So it's been really fun to kind of feel those differences, but all of the teams that I've been on here have been successful and all different at the same. So it's really cool.
Yes, I love that. Well, it's funny you mentioned cutting down the net, because that's one of the pictures I had seen on your Instagram. I love that.
Oh, yeah, it's iconic.
Yes, it really is. And like you said, not everybody gets the privilege to do that. Right. And so for you to have gotten that opportunity, that's so cool. And I could not love it more. But I remember what I was going to say earlier, just talking about women's sports in general. And, my shirt, watch women's sports.
Yes, love it.
I feel like women's sports in general, especially basketball and the WNBA, has come so far in the last few years. And I know there's a few key people that have maybe helped propel it a little more than others. But I just think it's so cool to see how far women's sports has come.
Absolutely.
And continuing to grow. Again, I think there's a lot of people that play a part in propelling women's sports.
100%.
And I'm all about anybody that's doing that. And I just think it's cool how far basketball's come. Even like March Madness for women, like it used to be an afterthought, I feel like, which I always thought was kind of sad. Everybody focuses on the men's March Madness, which I love March Madness. It's been
Yeah.
one of my favorite times of year, basically my whole life. But it's just really cool to see how the women have been like, hey, we're over here too. And I can't remember the exact timetable, but like the women's tournament just recently got to start using the March Madness
Yes. Yeah.
name.
So my entire collegiate career, it's been March Madness.
Yes,
I'm not sure when that changed. I do think it's pretty recent
it is
though.
pretty recent. Yes,
But yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think anybody that's furthering, like every single person that came before Caitlin Clark impacted the
yes,
game, and then Caitlin Clark took it and she
yes,
ran with it, and she has a great following, and I think
yes,
she's fantastic for the game and just women's
yes,
sports in general.
yes.
And I think that she kind of paves the way for people after her to do similar things. And, it doesn't matter why you turn on the WNBA; it just matters that you do.
Exactly, absolutely.
So yeah, and I think that more and more people are kind of realizing that women's sports are also fun to watch. And I
Absolutely.
think so. I think anything that can propel the sport forward is a great thing.
Yes,
And I, truly, like, they're doing a great job. The women who are kind of
yes.
spearheading that right now are doing a fantastic job. But I don't envy their position.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Well, I'm very thankful for technology, social media, all of that. I mean, I know pros and cons with that, but it has helped keep people informed with their teams and
100%.
be able to follow women's sports and
Yeah.
all sports that they may not be able to attend all the time. And I do wish that the WNBA was more accessible,
Yeah.
on major networks and stuff like that. But it has still come a long way,
Yes.
and a lot of the games are televised, quite a few of them.
Yes.
I know they're in their postseason right now, which is getting quite a bit of attention. And I'm certainly not going to complain about that because, like
Yeah.
I said, it's come so far in a pretty short period of time. So
100%. And I think that all that kind of stuff will keep moving in the right direction. And by the
I
time we
agree.
know it, there will be a lot of games on TV.
Yes.
You won't be able to turn it off.
I know. I love it. I have heard there is a sports bar. Gosh, I want to say in Cleveland, but I may have made that up. But I also heard there was a second one, I think maybe in Houston, that just wants to play women's sports.
That's cool. I
And
think
I
that's
was
really
like,
cool.
I wish I had the capacity, the money, time, all the things. I would love to do something like that because I think it's cool to give it a platform and give people an opportunity to
Yeah.
come and watch. So, yeah, I hope that more things like that become more common so that we can more openly support,
Yeah.
women's athletes and all the
Absolutely.
things. So, what are you looking forward to most this season?
Yes. Oh, I'm just so excited. This is going to be a really fun team. I think I mean, we're so good. Like the young kids that are coming in, they're so good.
Yes, that's
Um,
awesome.
and when I say we're so good, I mean like we're having fun. We're
Good.
been great at practice. We're having like a lot of fun connecting and getting to know. Like this
I
is
love
definitely
it.
a big change. We have a lot of new incoming freshmen. We have five, and
Yes,
that's a huge change for any team. And that's a lot of
very much.
inexperience in the college realm. And I
Oh,
think,
yeah.
but they're doing a great job. They're
Good.
absolutely killing it. They come with great attitudes every single day,
Awesome.
and they're great basketball players, but they're also fantastic people. So
That's so
we're just having
great.
so much fun, and I think we're going to be really good this year. And I'm just so excited to kind of play it out.
Yes.
I think that people are going to be really excited to watch some of our young guns, especially, like obviously there's a little bit of hype around one of our freshmen and she's doing a great job, but
Right.
all five of them are really going to be fun to watch. And I think that they're going to be good kids to watch through their four years in the program. So it's just a really exciting year. It's also, I think, the first time I felt kind of old on a team. Yeah, like I felt like I was a freshman for 3 years, and then all of a sudden was a senior, just because we did have a lot of experience and age. Girls, with 5th years and 6th years, and
Yes. Oh, yeah.
yeah. So we kind of had that previously, and just because of graduation dates, this is the first year that we don't have that.
Yes.
So I was young, and now I'm like, someone called me a fossil the other day. I was like,
Oh,
there's
God.
no way.
You're not a fossil.
I know. I was like, I'm 21. I
Oh,
don't
my
think I'm a fossil yet.
God. If you're a
Yes,
fossil,
but
I do not want to know what I
I
am.
know.
I could be your mom.
Yeah, but it's just fun. I mean, it's really lighthearted, and they're having a great time. So I think this season's going to be really fun, and I hope I hope that you guys are excited or as excited as I am. It's
Oh,
just going to be so
definitely.
fun, and you guys are going to love them. They're great. I feel like now that I'm a fossil, I can call them kids. So they're great
Right?
kids. So yeah, but they're awesome, and it's a fun time at practice every day.
That is awesome to hear. Well, like you were saying, like people like you and Peyton, y'all are going to be leaving
The
behind.
fossils,
Yeah, y'all fossils are
the
going to be
dust.
leaving behind the museum after this season. And so it's good to know that it's going to be left in good
Yes,
hands,
great
so to
hands.
speak. Yes,
Great
and
hands.
I know there's a lot of great players, younger
Yes.
than you guys too, and that will help guide the freshmen as well. I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
Basketball is one of those sports for me. It hasn't always been my favorite sport,
Yeah.
but football is my first love, always has been.
Right.
But like I said, I've always loved March Madness. I've always watched March Madness, and then I would say in the last probably 10 or 15 years for me, I've really just been like, I love watching basketball, and it has really grown on
Yeah.
me. And
I love that.
yeah, and so it's really been a growth for me, like I said, over about the last 10 or 15 years or so. My husband loves basketball, so we love to go to the tournaments when we can. Like if there's a part of the tournament that's nearby, we like to try to
Yeah.
go. And of course, I always try to come to at least one or two women's games a season as well. And I just think it's important to support you guys, and not
Yeah.
just because you're women, and not just because you're Sooners, but just in general. Like I mean, you guys deserve all the support. You put in tons of work, and you're fun to watch. And like I said, I know it's grown on me in the last little bit of time, but it's just a fun sport to watch, and it's fast.
Yes, it is.
It's very
Especially the
fast.
way that Jenny plays.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, and a lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, football, 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours," and baseball is the same way. But I'm like, softball, basketball is so fast. Like, go support our
Yeah.
girls, because
Yeah.
I mean, a couple hours, you can be in and out of there, and you've seen a great game. I'm here for it. I'm ready for a new season. I'm ready for it to start. I know it's really hard, especially for people like myself, to make a lot of those early season games with
Right.
football going on, especially because I'm out of town.
100%.
It's so hard to try to make all the things, but I'll definitely be there at least a few times this season, so I'll be looking you up. I am sad though, when I got this schedule, I was like, okay, Dawn Staley is coming to Norman and Kim Mulkey. And I can't off the top of my head remember which one of those, but one of those I'm going to be out of town for. And I was like, dang it. I know, because I highlighted those. I'm like, I really want to hit those. But anyway, I'll be there at some point regardless. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you're studying and kind of like your life plans? Do you want to talk anything about that?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I graduated this spring, early this spring, with a degree in healthcare administration and operations management. And I just recently started my master's in business administration. But my plan is to go pre-medicine.
Nice.
So I'm trying to apply to medical school later or earlier next year,
Uh-huh.
and hopefully just continue education with that. But yeah,
Yeah, that's so exciting.
yes, I love like, science in classes. Those are my favorite. So loving that. I will say business is a whole nother mountain tackling that.
I bet.
But yeah, I'm having a great time. I mean, I love it here. I've made so many great connections, and there's not very many other places where you get to do what you love while also,
Right.
getting a degree paid for. So that's fantastic as well.
That's awesome.
But yeah, those are a little bit of my plans. But hopefully, in 10 years, hopefully I'm working hopefully I'm a mom and with kids, and love that. And hopefully I'll bring him to all the women's games. Hopefully I'm
Absolutely.
nearby.
Of course, yeah. Well, that's very exciting, and I wish you nothing but the best with all of that, because that's very admirable.
Yeah.
And I know with COVID years and all of that, everybody's gotten a little extra time, and a lot of people are doing grad school while they're playing sports, and holy smokes. Yeah, kudos to you guys, because I cannot imagine.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
sometimes I feel like I barely got out alive with my bachelor's degree. So.
We all feel like that. I promise. It all feels like that.
Well, is there anything else you want to share or talk about before I let you go?
I can't think of anything. I can't stress how exciting this season is going to be, and how much fun you guys are going to have watching us have fun.
I'm ready. I am so ready. Well, Boomer Sooner.
Yes, Boomer Sooner.